Hi everyone, this is Povery MTG and I'm Carlo.
And this is Ricardo.
And today we're gonna discuss a new deck list for a new deck that we called Rat's Ephemerate for Pauper. And on this deck, we're gonna discuss about a new Orzhov combo that is possible thanks to the new affinity cards that came out in Modern Horizon 3. And the basic ideas for this deck is to have a full control deck, and where we use the best quality for black and white. Initially, we wanted to create an Esper deck, but we saw that the draw power was enough for us with this deck, and we didn't need a third color that would have basically messed up our land base. And the idea would be to repeat over and over and over the familiar, so that we can let the opponent discard, and when they have no cards, we draw, and supported by other discard cards, and to be able to recover from the graveyard all the rats, and also exile the graveyards of the opponents multiple times during the game, so that we will remove all the resources they have. And now Ricardo can show more in detail the deck list and what we thought about.
Yeah, thanks, Carlo. Thank you. We started from the classic course of deck list, I'd say. This is not something new. I mean, also existed till forever, I think, from in Pauper. But we found out that during our tests, actually, in the deck list we used to test, realized that it was unable to keep it up with the format right now. Do you agree, Carlo? And this
It
is a little,
wasn't.
yeah, it was kind of, slow. I mean, right now the Orzhov deck lists actually works on the capability of balancing the artifacts, which are the new familiar and the blade, actually working in those two directions, which are the ability of making your opponent discards all the cards and making your opponent sacrifice creatures. But we realized that actually working that way wasn't enough. So we decided to focus on a single strategy actually, try to obtain the best of from it. And we decided we should focus on the discard ability, isn't it?
Yeah, initially we started with a full red strategy because there are a couple of reds, like not only Refurbished Familiar, but also the other one that puts the card back on top of the deck.
Ah, yeah,
But
right, yeah. You're right.
the mana value was too high, and this is the problem we were facing the whole time.
Exactly.
Basically, we didn't have enough mana. So basically, what we thought is, yeah, let's just take cards that do the same but with less mana.
Exactly.
For example, yeah, for Virus
Exactly.
Beetle, it's also an artifact which makes it work for with our affinity side of the deck, and also instead of the Nihil Bomb, we decided to go for the
Crypt.
Tormod Crypt
Yeah,
because it goes
exactly.
down with 0.
Yeah.
And both are important because of the Jolted Awake,
Mm-hmm.
because we can pick up the Virus Beetle again with Jolted Awake, since it's only 2 mana if we want, and it's an artifact.
Exactly. This is
And same for
actually,
Tormod.
yeah, exactly. Because we have to underline that the ads he had the sort of decks actually the you can rely on the new Jolted Awake, which is error card actually, because when we realize that some of the more used cards are too many, I'd say, mana demanding. Actually, we switch to the cards that are less very demanding, which are we wanted to achieve the same result actually, to make the opponent unable to play. Let him discard the entire hand actually with the familiar and the B3. And we wanted to boost on this strategy by jumping those cards with the Hawk. Both of them are active arts, as you said, and with the Snatcher, which actually, with one single mana, is able to ninja your cards. And yeah, you're right when you say that it's not only important to make the opponent discard cards, but also to exile them from the graveyard. And we found out that the Crypt is something that no one is using. I don't know why, because it actually doesn't have a cost when you
And it
cast and
doesn't
when
draw.
you use it. Yes, exactly.
That's that's the
And
trap that people think. Yeah, I can pay one
exactly,
mana to play it, one mana to sacrifice the bomb, and then I draw a card. But
exactly,
sometimes mana is more important than drawing, especially
exactly.
when with familiar, because since we are able to bounce it back with Glint Hawk or use the second part of the deck because we called it Ephemerate thanks
Yeah,
to
exactly,
Ephemerate, it's
exactly.
very easy to have the other person with 0 cards and withdraw. So I would rather roll with Refurbished Familiar and cast it over and over rather than spend a single black mana for the Nihil Spellbomb. And
Mhm.
Tormod Crypt
Yeah,
comes like exactly for this.
exactly. You're totally right. And actually, the other trick actually used is that the Jolted Awake, we thought that it would be more useful to be used on the creatures, while actually the ability of actually take back another artifact is very useful when you see it on the Blood Fountain and on the Crypt itself, because depending on the match you are facing, actually it's more important to have the ability to take back your creature from the graveyard or to keep on exiling the opponent graveyard. So the Jolted Awake is actually phenomenal. Actually, it's very useful even with the lands, because in game 2 and 3, if they can, they try to destroy your lands. And your lands, the more valuable ones are the artifact ones, and you can recover them by taking from the graveyard.
And the cool thing about Jolted Awake it's also that since it's based on the energy counters, if we take something with 0 mana, then the next Jolted Awake has 4 energy counters that can use.
Exactly.
So we can also get back Refurbished Familiar in case.
Yes, yes, yes.
That was all. That came up several times, and absolutely, it's mandatory for this deck. And thanks to Jolted Awake, we can use Cast Down and Dispute. Sorry, we can use the Dispute and the Fanatical Offering to destroy, as Ricardo says, also the lands. If we are in dire need for cards, we can just destroy a land, draw, and then Jolted Awake, pick up the land again. Not a
Ex-
problem. And if
Exactly.
we miss the land for turn, we can just play it back untapped. So it's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even in the most difficult phase, I'd say, when you have actually lands and artifact lands, and you just can, let's say, search for something with the dispute or offering, this is very useful because you sack your land and you just try to take it back with the awake. Yeah, yeah, it's fundamental. Actually, this is something that with just one mana, it actually gives a lot.
And now that we show the full deck list, we might go to watch
To
at the
the
side
sideboard.
deck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Actually,
we also added some maybe board that we can think about of
yeah,
using because there are
yeah,
different chances where we saw some lackings and we might have thought about something different. But Ricardo, the stage is yours.
yeah. Thank you. Well, yeah, actually, the sideboard is very depending on the actual meta, and let's say it depends on also on the on where you play this deck. I mean, the only for in my opinion, for what I saw, the only fundamental cards that we should use is Dust to Dust for sure for them, because fundamental against the artifact decks. The Tithing Blade we tried to is very useful when you play against those decks like the ones they have the very giant creatures you may have difficult to destroy, and it can be useful in that case. Then we actually thought from this free spot that Duress can be useful with those decks that used to counter your cards, and you actually have no response for them apart from see their hands and try to discard what is
Mhm.
maybe can be lethal for you, let's say, because
Yeah, being able to discard a
uh,
counter spell, that's it. That's and then
yeah,
we're
exactly,
fine.
exactly. Then we actually goes for the usual cards like Drawing Sorrow, which is always useful with all these decks that used to run creatures like little 1/1 cards. A lot of them. It's not that maybe very useful in that situation, in my opinion.
Hmm.
The other spots can be free spot actually. The Thraben Charm, this is the new card which has several effects you can choose between them, and it can be useful depending on the archetype you are facing, because this is able also to destroy an enchantment. Actually, this is the only one that is able to destroy an enchantment, and this is instant. So it can be useful as well, this card. So, what else we can say about this? Actually, we had good results. Starting from the and also basic idea, we I'd say we actually boosted a lot, and we will show some matchups we had, and for sure, just
Yeah,
to
yeah. In the next videos, we will show some of the
yeah
glue matchup with the meta, like with Grixis Affinity or with any terror. And
yeah
there is such a satisfaction when you Tormod script and they're like, "Oh, I have 20 spells
exactly.
in the graveyard." Bah! No, you don't.
Nothing
And
is there anymore. Yeah.
but yeah, and plus, yeah, any deck with counter spells or any deck that requires to have card in hand, this deck is absolutely its bane,
Yeah.
because you just once you have to discard everything, what you gonna keep? One counter spell that does nothing, one draw spell, or yeah. So we win by like demolishing the opponent little by little.
Exactly.
And yeah, for what concerns the mana curve, as we discussed initially, that there are a lot of good cards, but generally the mana was very high, so we pushed it in a way that is as low as possible.
Mhm.
And the only high mana one are the affinity one, are the big rats. So
Exactly.
basically, we can play everything with 2 or less mana, and this is the only way this deck can function. Any big, not on the side clearly, but any big mana value of cards for the main deck would be an hindrance, and
Yeah.
this you will see in the
The next videos. Yeah.
yes.
Well,
So yeah,
thank you,
we'll close
everyone.
it here. Thank you, everyone. We'll post the link for the deck list in the comments, so you can just directly copy paste it and go for tournaments and win. Remember to
Exactly.
thank Povery MTG, the best team,
Yeah.
and yeah, see you in the next one.
See you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.